Hi there. This is the fifth episode of eCommerce Growth Show, and thanks for watching. I'm here with this guy, Mike, all the way from Detroit. He and his team of free Shopify experts have built hundreds of Shopify stores for free over the past 4 years. So keep on watching. Maybe you'll gain some important knowledge about how to build and grow your Shopify e-commerce. Mike, thanks a lot for being part of the show.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for inviting me. I appreciate it.
So the first question is how's life there in Detroit for you? How are you handling with all these challenging times?
It's interesting. Today's a really nice sunny day with a blue sky, so that makes me happy. Pretty much, I would say things haven't, for me personally, changed drastically because I work from home and I'm kind of a workaholic, so I don't see people in general.
I dig that, yeah.
But other than that, I also help my mom. She has COPD, and I help her out twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we haven't been able to, go out and go to the grocery store or go to the movies or go out to dinner or anything like that. And obviously in over 2 months. And I think they're going to extend it again. It's already extended to June, but I'm sure that the governor is going to, like many governors, keep extending this shelter-in-place order. So, but we have it a lot better than a lot of folks. One of our team members is in the UK, and they're only allowed to exercise like 1 hour a day, I think, or maybe a half hour a day, from what I understand. And then several peers and friends are in India, and if you're in a red zone in India, I've heard that you're very bad off and not able to go out at all, and they have these weird group retention centers if you do go out of the house. So it's nothing like that here, so I'm not complaining. How is it for you where you're at?
Well, we can't complain either. So we've got this, let's say the worst restrictions had eased since since last Friday. And we're quite okay. Personally, I'm relearning how it is to stay with the family so much. And
Right.
My wife, she's joking that at the beginning of January, I've said, how can we stay longer? Let's say for, I don't know, a few weeks at home, because we've just moved in here and we have a forest nearby. And he said, "You've broken the planet, you and your wife."
You cursed us all. I see.
Yeah. So, Mike, tell us a thing about what you do at ShopaFree, and tell us what's going on with this business model, because it's kind of intriguing that you're building Shopify stores for free.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So ShopaFree started 4 years ago. Actually, we just had our 4th birthday when I had my 44th birthday. I launched on my 40th birthday, if you do the math. So yeah, what we started with is just a simple idea of building Shopify sites for free based on the Shopify Partner Commission. Now, a lot of merchants are unaware of the fact that when you hire a Shopify expert and you're building a store brand new, and they're setting it up for you, and essentially, not to go into the details too much, but Shopify gives developers tools to spin up what they call a development store. And in doing that, you can basically prevent the merchant from having to pay for a Shopify plan until they've paid for the actual development of the store. And at that time, the developer hands over the keys, so to speak, or transfers ownership of the store to the merchant. Now, our model is totally inverted from that. So effectively, what we do during the onboarding process is the first step is handing you the keys to the store, having you select a plan, and that is what confirms your place in our queue for our free setup. So it's a little bit different. The queue varies, but right now we're at about like 7 weeks. So that goes up and down. For all of May, I was basically allowing there to be no queue, just to help out with people starting businesses and trying to go online. So we were basically providing the option to skip the queue for free in May, but that's kind of winding down right now. So the new stores that we're booking are going back to the queue method. But yeah, so that's in a nutshell. And the process by which we build out the actual stores is we approach this from sort of a pit crew perspective. So instead of one person working on a store for weeks or months at a time, dragging things out with long, arduous email communications that are asynchronous. So you send an email, then I have to wait to send an email, then go back and forth, or even through project management systems like Trello or Basecamp or 9 to 5 or any project management system, still the same kind of thing, right? It's very asynchronous. So in building these hundreds of stores over the past 4 years, what we found is that that's where 90% of the time is. Almost all the time lies in this. What we're doing right now, this live communication, this is the exact way that we set up, design your store, and provide you a crash course in Shopify's back end and the admin, if you're not familiar with it.
Yes,
So, oh, go ahead.
Please go on. Yeah.
Yeah, so what we do is on the free setups, we provide a 90-minute session and we front load a lot of information. So basically we'll give the merchant a little list of homework to do, right? Because we don't want to come in completely from scratch right when we start the session. I want the merchant to make the most of the time. Now it's 100% their time. That 90 minutes, they can spend it however they like. So some people come in totally from scratch and have nothing and need help from the ground up. Some people have more of a plan. They have creative guidelines. They have a logo done already. They have stock art they want to use, or even better yet, photography that they've shot or videos that they've shot. So what we ask for is 3 things. Oh, did I lose you? Did I lose you?
Yeah, I'm here, Mike. I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I didn't see. Okay, cool. My head bopped off the screen. I thought, oh, I'm not sure if I'm connected. So yeah, we ask for 3 things. First and foremost is that you come to the table with a theme selection. And if you don't have the theme selection, we're happy to help you with that, but realize that eats into that time, right? So come to the table with the theme selection already, number 1. Number 2 is provide 2 to 3 inspirational links of sites that you like the look and feel of, and that informs our design process. And then number 3 is provide a Google Drive of your assets. Now that can be anything. Again, if you have a PDF, creative, like a branding Bible or creative guidelines, that's great. If you don't have that, that's okay. But if you have imagery for your products, imagery for your anything, your homepage, your collections, the more you provide us, the better the site's going to essentially turn out. Now, for the most part, sites are usually anywhere from 70 to 100% complete, simple sites. And by simple, I mean less than a dozen products. Anything over a dozen products, we actually can provide an estimate to help you with. But what most people end up opting to do is say they have 50 or 100 or thousands of products and they need to do a huge data migration or something along those lines. So we'll just recommend them use an external automation system like Cart to Cart or Lid Extension, or they can feel free to do the data transfer themselves if it's a large store. If it's a smaller store and they're just wanting to understand, like, hey, I got 50 products, that's no problem. So what we'll do is walk them through, 2 or 3 products live in their session and help focus on that, and then answer any questions live. So the way it breaks down is the first 30 minutes of the conversation is essentially your information architecture, or fancy schmancy term for menus, and your user experience. We lay out the homepage that's in your theme, and then it's not just myself, it's me and Jeff and Lee. Well, we're the team of 3 that your Shopify pit crew, basically, that walk you through this entire process. So I act as a master of ceremonies. As you can probably tell, I like to talk. So, and I basically have a back channel with my team, and we sort of communicate via typing and sometimes just crosstalk with a client as well. And then they set off to focus on the design elements, building out pages, copying content from the Google Drive, while I'm answering questions for the merchant themselves. So again, it's that pit crew NASCAR type of session. You drive the car in, boom, and all the tires come off, the fluids get changed, everything gets checked, and the new tires get on, the brakes are changed, the rotors are off and on, and you're gone within minutes, as opposed to taking weeks to have one mechanic to charge you too much, to have your car for 3 weeks and work on it at a time. So that's the free session. And then we also have sort of a paid engagement that just expands that exact same system. We still have 3 people working on the team, still have 3 people working on your site. The only difference is there's 3 differences. The 90 minutes expands to 3 individual 2-hour sessions, and we do on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Usually, I mean, we're flexible on that, but Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then we also offer 30 days of free support, as well as a free month trial to our unlimited design and development club that we call Tweakly.
Okay. Mike, we have some questions from the audience, and
Sure, for sure.
one of them is coming from Rashad. How does Shopify react to you showing growth hacking with their free version?
Could you repeat that?
So how does Shopify react to you showing growth hacking with their free version? So
growth hacking?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, they actually love it. So they're super excited about it. I've talked so when we used to have partner managers, back in the day, the partner managers were really excited about it. It really is the definition of a win-win-win, because effectively Shopify is getting not just a new merchant, but they're getting a happy merchant with a store that they love the design of, they love the feel of it. So every time they log in, they feel like, wow, I really want to make this work, because it feels better to them, as opposed to a cold, no interactions with a human. Obviously, the merchant wins because of the free setup, of course, and then we win because of the continuing rev share that we get in. As long as you're paying for a Shopify account, we get a small percentage of that.
Mm-hmm. Regarding the Facebook shops, that's a question that I wanted to ask you as well. So Shopify, Facebook recently, yesterday, they've made it public that they will cooperate with Shopify, and they are releasing Facebook shops. And Rashad is asking, will people be more keen to launch social media shops rather than doing a website?
I think it's a great question, and it's a great place to start for your e-commerce experience. But we've already seen this happen right in the on the dormant plans. So essentially, the Shopify plans that I think it's $14, or maybe I might be getting that wrong, but somewhere around there, where it basically allows you to sell only on Shopify or only on Facebook and through a buy button. But I might get that wrong too, because we don't work with too many of those. But yeah, I think it's a great idea. I think it's fantastic. So both Toby and Mark, I watched the announcement the other day. Number one, it's a great idea. Number two, it reminded me a little bit of when, but not as ominous, when Jobs announced the fact that Gates was investing in Apple, in the late 80s or I think it was in the 90s. And he appeared on the screen behind Jobs at Macworld, and everybody booed. But I don't see it like that. I see it like two companies that definitely have a passionate following, and whether you love or loathe them, you use them. We all use them, and that's the fact of the matter. They're almost a necessity, or at least some form of Shopify's necessity, of course, whether you're using one of the competitors or not. I personally, obviously, am a huge fan of Shopify. As far as Facebook goes, it's the same kind of thing. You can exist elsewhere in social media, Twitter, YouTube, and other channels for sure. And you can even sell elsewhere, but it's probably the single best, most important social selling platform that you're going to be involved with. So yeah, I'm all for it. I like the way Toby described it. It's basically headless e-commerce, more or less. Sell anything, anywhere, to anyone, at any time. And that's kind of perfect. I think they're taking on Amazon, especially with respect to the other announcements, like Shopify Fulfillment Center is finally launching publicly, as well as, this kind of blew everyone's mind, Shopify Balance, that new banking system, essentially. Many moons ago, I pondered that maybe Shopify would become a bank at some point, but I didn't see it happening anytime soon. And the neat part is it's a hybrid, right? Because they're essentially doing also accounting software in conjunction with being a bank, in conjunction with being a credit card. And unfortunately, for a lot of app developers out there, they are now becoming a loyalty rewards provider. So that's going to rock the boat for a lot of people, I'm sure. But I like it. I think it's great. And for merchants, wow, it's fantastic.
I wanted to ask you something, Mike, regarding the ramp up time that you are seeing for startups. That if as you've worked a lot with the new Shopify stores, you've seen some patterns. So what is the average ramp up time from start to them getting, I don't know, 100 orders per week or so? And what are the most let's say the most harmful decisions that they are doing, and you would suggest for new entrepreneurs getting into the e-commerce not to do?
For sure. So with the first question, I would say it's fairly nuanced and store specific, but I'm going to cut that into two sections, right? Over on the right, you've got dropship stores. And traditionally, these are people who want to be a part of e-commerce, don't really know how to get started. They don't have a product. Don't have a particular focus. They just heard about Shopify. They feel like it's the new gold rush and they don't know how to approach it. They just want to make money. So I think that a lot of people fall into that category. So that's the one side of things. I'm going to come back and speak to that in a second because it's much more complicated. And in that context, you could probably speak more clearly about averages and what's clearly good or bad. But over on the other side, these are the ones that I'm most interested in working with. And eventually what ShopaFree will move to is a model where all original products or products that are being sold in brick and mortars, that essentially self-owned brick and mortars, not just reselling stores or malls. We're going to focus solely on that at some point. We're definitely still doing dropship stores as well, but at some point we will end the free model for the dropship stores. And the reason is just the high churn. So they're just trying it, jumping in, jumping out. So on the other side, the original products, it's really easy. And this is the crazy part of hundreds of stores. Our top 10% of stores all have three things in common, just very, very easily to comprehend. Super simple. Number one, they're original products, first and foremost. They created the product, they patented it or trademarked or whatever they did with it, and it's just their product. What's that?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, cool. So original product. Number two, a tiny catalog. So their full number of SKUs, often including different versions, is under 12. Most people think more products equals more money. We'll get to that in a second on the dropship stores, but that's not the case almost ever. Literally almost ever. And then the third one is, to some degree, all products are consumable, but the ones that are super consumable, obviously things like personal body care, makeup, deodorant, stuff like that, and of course food. Any type of food or edible item or usable items like pet toys, things that get torn apart, all these types of systems. And the reason being this is not just so popular, it's also such a huge moneymaker, is because you can obviously then take the next step and add a subscription. And now you have a form of passive income, or at least somewhat passive, with your subscription. So things like BarkBox are a great example. There's tons of them out there, but those three things we see time and time again in our top 10%. And these are 6- and 7-figure stores that, they're huge. They're, again, original products, very, very low SKU count, under a dozen usually, and consumable product. If you can do those three things, then it might take you a long time to ramp up, and it will. So there is no real average time. To speak to your original question, does it take a day, a month, a year? The answer is yes. So I'll give you one quick example, not to go too far into the details, but this one particular client is fantastic. He waited to open his store. It was a brilliant plan. He waited to open his store to a point where he was writing blogs about his particular industry for an entire year. And it's a niche within a niche within a niche, right? So it is within the animal spectrum. I don't want to go into the details, but basically it's insect raising is what I'll say. Insect raising, you'd think, wow, multi-million-dollar idea there, right? Isn't that great? It blows my mind what basically occurred. So he built up a list. This is prior to ever opening a Shopify store. And this speaks to your question about averages of how long does it take to ramp up. It's literally different than every system. So he front-loaded so much of that experience, built up a list of over 20,000 subscribers, just followers of his blog. That's it. He wasn't even starting to sell something at all. Then he sold a mixture of things. The month he opened up, the first month he opened up, he was a logistics driver, for one of the delivery systems out here. He quit his job the first month because he had a 5-figure month on products with like an 80-90% margin that he didn't even make. So, and again, consumable products, he was ticking that one off for sure. And he was in a really passionate industry, raising these, you can guess, basically you release these things and they fly away and are tagged and monitored. So anyway, it was so beautiful. It's so incredibly beautiful. Then what he did was added an original product, which was how to raise these things, right? He wrote 2 ebooks, and the ebooks, 100% margin, 100% of the time. Then he added yet a third type of offering in his off season, because these insects are only raised once a year for 2 or 3 months, and that's it. So during the holiday season, in the winter and that kind of thing, he had shirts for people that were passionate about it. And he just had guys on Fiverr design them, and that was it. So that's the original product side of things. I know most people don't fit into that category, but I'd highly recommend, when you're thinking about starting a Shopify store, think about starting any kind of e-commerce store, whatever platform you're on, definitely do something that you're passionate about, because it's going to take time. And if you get bored with it and quit in 3 months or 6 months or a year, you will never cross what the Silicon Valley kids call the Chasm of Doubt, or the Valley of Despair, which is you don't know if you're close. Like, the gears are spinning so fast, and they might be right here, about to click and about to make you financially free, and then you quit. So that's the hardest part to get past, because you might be right on the cusp of doing all that front loading. Like I said, this one gentleman took a year's time to do this. Now, other people, they ramp really slow. Another one of our clients, on the original consumable product line with low SKUs, she makes deodorant, aluminum-free deodorant, and it's really great. Took her over a year to ramp up, right? A year to get to a point where she was profitable, and it made sense. She worked from her kitchen until she had to ramp up. Then she bought a warehouse in her second year. And now in her third year, she's everywhere. She's global. She's literally in fulfilling centers everywhere. So that's the original side. But now to speak to pretty much everybody else that's trying to start drop shipping stores, guys, the 3, and this speaks to your second question, the 3 major issues everyone experiences all at the same time, and they're almost always the exact same issues. So the first one is catalog. Your gut reaction is go into Oberlo, go into Spocket, go into Shopify, or any drop shipping company, and say, give me all the products. I'm going to sell everything, and that's going to make me millions because I have more products. You don't have more products than Amazon, number one. You don't have the trust of Amazon, and you don't already have subscriptions for all these people. Amazon Prime with free shipping. So that effectively is a little ant trying to fight the dragon of Amazon that'll just, owning everything and destroying the world. So don't do that. You need to pick a niche, and not just a niche. So there are great articles on this on Shopify, and I'm sure you can Google as well. But in a nutshell, I'll give you a quick example. I like pets. Okay, that's a huge niche, right? It's a $60 billion industry. The pet industry is an annual $60 billion industry. Not niche enough. You need to niche down. Okay, well, I like dogs. Great. Okay, Not niche enough. Niche down again. All right, I own a pug and I'm really passionate about pugs. Okay, so that's 3 levels deep into a specific niche. Now what are you going to sell? Are you going to sell pug toys? Are you going to sell pug mugs? Are you going to, maybe that's it, pug mugs. Somebody got pugmugs.com? Probably. But the point is, the more specific you get, the better chances you get of becoming super, or having a client base that are super passionate, incredibly passionate, and not just follow you, but talk to you, talk to their community about you, and basically say, hey, you got to go here. This guy's got the greatest pug mugs ever. It's fantastic. They're amazing. So definitely catalog. That's number one. And then number 2 is niche down, specific. Make your products, or the products that you're selecting, because you absolutely can have success with dropship stores. Yes, you can absolutely make millions literally with dropship stores. Does everyone? No. It's like being a rock star. Is everyone a rock star? No, everyone's not a rock star. There are millions of musicians. I'm a musician. Have you heard about my record? No, you have not. So that's the point. Unfortunately, I feel personally that Shopify tends to sell this image of anyone can make, millions, or not even millions, just anyone can make a living on Shopify by starting and just jumping in and doing it. And while technically that's true, it's not easy. No, you're not going to win a dinner with Richard Branson. No, you're not going to win, the best design award. No, 99% of the people who start will not get to that point. That's really huge. And the third biggest mistake, again, is stopping too soon. People constantly change, and they change rapidly. Hey, I just started this clothing store and it's been going for 30 days and I haven't made $1,000 yet. You know what? I only made 2 sales and that's really upsetting. So you know what I did? I just switched it to, now I'm selling car parts, and I'm only selling car parts, and it's carparts.com. Now I switched the domain, but you know what? I only made 5 sales. So now I'm switching it to dog food. That's all I'm selling is dog food. And I'll see people go through this over and over and over again. I'm just looking at it like, you didn't even try any of these things. 1 month is nothing. 3 months is nothing. 6 months is nothing. And no one wants to hear this, but a year, nothing. Took me 3 years to become profitable with ShopaFree. And that took me selling 3 of my rental properties, which sustained me prior to ShopaFree. I sold 1 a year, every year, because I bet it all on this. I thought, I'm going to make this work. In the 3rd year, I became profitable. And now we're in our 4th year and doing really well. Just very well. I'm very happy with the result. Not a millionaire, that sucks, but doing a lot better than I was in the 1st and 2nd year.
Yeah. Mike, I have a thing to address here based on your remark that people are abandoning their experiment to become a Shopify entrepreneur or even an e-commerce entrepreneur if they are not on Shopify. And I think that has to do with their instant gratification perception. So mainly they want to get the results way too soon. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that we are way too short-sighted. So I myself, I'm an entrepreneur since 2000. So I've built 4 companies. This is my 4th company already. We are doing this for 7 years in a row.
Congratulations. That's fantastic. I didn't realize that. That's cool. Sure.
And I can say as well that entrepreneurs and the ones which are just starting up, they don't realize that entrepreneurship is a marathon. So you don't expect to get the rewards too soon. So you need to, 42 kilometers, but most of them are dropping in the after the first 2-3 kilometers. And
42 is the answer for sure.
And another important aspect is I was just chatting today with my team over Google Hangout, because that's what we were using, about the fact that you need to be very, very focused and very specific. So I totally agree with you that I recall that I've been watching the Shawshank Redemption, the movie, with that guy that eventually escaped from the prison by digging at the same spot, right? So every day for years in a row. So the idea, and that has a lot to do with the principle in physics, right? The energy that you need to penetrate to the next level, that it needs to be very specific and into a single point, so that you can break the glass, you can break the wall. So I think that's fantastic that you've suggested these mistakes, because I totally agree with you. So going further, we have more questions from Rashad again. So he's also wondering, if I was to start developing an app on Shopify, what would be some growth tricks that can help me highlight my app within the Shopify App Store? I'm curious as well. We've just released our app on the Shopify App Store, and Mike, I'm all ears.
Oh, for sure. So while I'm not an app developer, I definitely work with a lot of app developers, and we have partnerships with 50 plus app developers. And again, there's some very, I would say, low-hanging fruit that you can do and accomplish, and everyone who's developing an app can, and I would say should do this. If you happen to be part of the Shopify Partners Group, recently I've posted on this exact subject and wrote a sort of a scathing insider's look on how app developers tend to overlook these very specific things. I think there's 5 points, and I'm actually just kind of bringing it up right now because I literally just want to read those points to you. So I titled it The Perfect Partner Program. So first and foremost, when you're developing an app, the single most important thing you could possibly do is have an incredibly compelling partner program. And I'm not just saying that as a point of conjecture, or I'm basing it off of my relationship with the mother shop, right? Shopify, or what I like to refer to as the mother shop, they did 3 things that no other system does, and they do it better than everybody. And this is why they took off, right? They definitely did the exact same thing you're talking about. They focused. They had that one point. They just kept focusing, and over a long period of time, right? I mean, Shopify is what? I think it's 12, 13, 14 years old, something like that. We only joined them 5 years ago, but yeah, they've been focused for a long time. The 3 things that they did and did right were the partnership commission, for sure, not just for sake of my relationship with them, but for the fact that you cannot Google the term Shopify and run into millions of articles about how to get started, do this, blah, blah, blah. Why is that? Pause and think about that. It's because of the affiliate links that used to exist. So they had affiliates, which were kind of like a lesser version of their partnerships. And I always say they go out to their affiliate junkies, right? People just writing articles and putting links everywhere to hopefully get someone to click. And then if they sign up for Shopify, they get that bounty of a couple $100 or whatever it is based on their plan. So since then, they did away with that. They've been refining the partnership agreement, which is the second point. So massively important point, partnership agreement, and be incredibly generous in the beginning. You can reel that back. You can drop percentages, but what you can never do is cancel the partnership altogether, nor drop it to a point where it's not compelling, right? So Shopify's partnership program, unfortunately for a lot of us, including myself, has changed rapidly and significantly to the detriment of its partners, in my opinion, over the last, well, specifically the last 2-3 years. But what they did in the beginning is have that great partnership and then rapidly revising it on an as-needed basis. So if you go back and traditionally, I highly recommend, if you haven't seen this, as merchants or as Shopify partners or as app developers, go watch Toby and their CFO and Harley and the CTO talk about, and it was a 2016 video called Shopify Roadshow. Go watch that whole thing, because it's super important to see not just their growth, but their growth in terms of how they developed and why they developed. And it makes so much sense. So the partner program, I think, has been around about 10 years, approximately that. But when they released the API, and it became a robust API, not in the first iteration, because I think that was about 9 or 10 years ago too. But when it became a robust API, and then they launched the app platform, just like, think of it like iTunes, think of it like the Google Play Store and the theme store. So they had the App Store and the theme store. These are the things that allowed them to grow exponentially. So if you, as an app developer, first and foremost, develop that great partner program. And here are the 5 points I just brought up. Again, you can Google this on the shop or search for it on the Shopify Partners Facebook group. It's titled Perfect Partner Program. So the 5 points are this: lifetime recurring commissions, period. That has to be it. Don't give them 6 months of recurring commissions. You can offer them a bounty if you want. Shopify does that too, a bounty option instead of the recurring commission. And as you pointed out, Valentin, if am I saying that right, Valentin?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So as you pointed out, Valentin, you've been through this, 4 times as an entrepreneur, right? It's so important to embrace other entrepreneurs. Now, I love all of the kumbaya, rah, 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 cheerleader stuff that the Shopify executives espouse. I do. Like Toby says, charge your trust battery, right? I love Toby's interviews, by the way. Charge your trust battery, and it takes, and that's sort of a psychological concept about, building relationships and trust in general. I think there's a book named it too, but the point is this: it takes a lifetime to charge your trust battery. It takes seconds to destroy your entire reputation and relationships with people. So that's one. Go where the path leads to more entrepreneurs. That's huge. And it was big. It was at Unite, right? I've never gone to Unite because I don't want to pay $1,500 and a plane ticket and a hotel. But point is, for sure, go where the path that leads to more entrepreneurs. And that's what Shopify did with their partner program, with their app store, with their theme store. Because what did they do at that point? They anointed all of us as experts on the service side, you as app developers, and everyone in the ecosystem to be brand evangelists. We go out and passionately talk about Shopify. Why is Shopify better than Volusion or Woocommerce or Magento or any of the other options out there? Well, I'll tell you in 1, 2, 3, 10 blog posts, in a phone call, in a pitch deck. I'll tell you over and over and over again. Why? Because I'm passionate about being involved in the partnership ecosystem. That's why. So for the longest time, that was kind of behind the kimono, right? No merchants are not no, but most merchants are unaware of the fact that if you pay an expert and they build a dev store and then give you that dev store, they're getting paid for the eternity of you being on Shopify, or at least they have that option to. It's very small. It's just 20% of what you pay Shopify for your plan. Nothing to do with your sales, but that's significant. It ramps up, right? We're at thousands and thousands of dollars a month in passive income right now today after 4 years of doing this in hundreds of stores. And the store quality goes up too, right? That's the hugest part. That's why, we're working with less dropship stores. We're working with more original product stores. We're working with less basic plans. We're working with more pro and advanced. And now we've just signed our second plus plan. Oh, guys, this took so long. And yes, finally. So I've had so many potential plus. But so the 5 points, sorry, I tangentize a lot. The 5 points of the Perfect Partner Program, if you don't want to read in the Perfect Partner Program, Shopify Partners group, Facebook group, post that I made: lifetime recurring commissions, easy to use dashboard, updated in real time. Cannot stress that enough. I'm not going to chase you down to see if I'm getting my $1 out of your app. And I tried that in the beginning. And then once I ramped up and had over 50 plus partners, we're nearing 100 partners at this point. It's unsustainable. And why do I care for $1 or $2 or whatever when I already have the perfect app. And you know what my app is? It works by itself while I'm sleeping. It has tens of millions of dollars in marketing capital. It has thousands of customer service representatives that I don't have to pay. Oh, and by the way, it updates itself constantly and I don't have to pay for servers. My app is called Shopify, and they pay me $7 to $400 per client per month that I bring in. So that's why ShopaFree, or the model, or I've proven the model to work. When I started this, I thought, Why is no one doing this? What am I missing? What's the big thing? And the reality is, the only thing I was missing was the one obvious thing: fear. People were just afraid. Is Shopify going to cancel me? Is it not going to work? Am I going to have too much churn? You don't know the answers to that. You fear the answers. I heard everywhere from, oh, you know what? You're going to lose half your stores every month, or you're going to lose 90%. Everyone falls off. You know what? I got the affiliate link and almost all my stores are gone. That's different. You just have someone click on a link. You didn't have a phone conversation. You didn't create a branding for them. You didn't design a beautiful store for them. You didn't hold their hand and teach them Shopify. That's what we're doing. So sorry, I keep getting tangentizing, but point 2 on the Shopify app developers: easy to use dashboard, updated in real time. People are not going to hunt you down. They're just going to stop recommending your app. They're just going to say, oh, well, this guy doesn't have his shit together yet, so screw it. Number 3, vanity URL. Give me omniconvert.com/ShopaFree. Give me a landing page. Give me something that I can edit. That's ideal. If not, then at least allow me to, correspond with someone at your business and say, hey, this is the image, this is the text I want. And then, of course, again, that vanity URL is super important. So it's not just a landing page, it's a vanity URL that I can drop anywhere. I have a Facebook group of over 12,000 members. Shopify free sources, go check it out. All sorts of free stuff on Shopify. There are tons of great Facebook groups out there with thousands and hundreds of thousands of members. If I see a post and I know that one of my partners is a perfect fit, well, obviously I'm going to grab my affiliate link and drop it. Now, this gets into weird gray territory. People hate affiliate links, right? I just try to be upfront about it and say, hey, this is an affiliate, but I'm a partner with them and I recommend their product. So to me, I allow anyone's affiliates, including competitive affiliates, in my Facebook group. And the reason for that is, as long as you're in context of serving the original poster's question, fine. You got to it before I did. Great. Use your affiliate link. I'm fine with that. What I'm not fine with is just dropping links randomly that are totally not even remotely related to the original post. So 3 is vanity URL. 4, automated monthly PayPal payouts. Now you can swap PayPal with whatever system works for you, but automated monthly payouts. I cannot stress this enough. Again, I'm not going to chase you down. I don't want an Excel sheet. I don't want an email about your update. I don't want you to make me request money. I think, did we lose you, Valentin? I think we lost Valentin. Looks like, well, anyway.
You can go on.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll keep talking then. So yeah, automated monthly payouts. The 5th one, and this to me is the holy grail, and everyone misses it. It's so stupid that everyone misses this, and I don't know why. It's just stupid. It's absolutely stupid. This is something that Shopify, I'm going to build it up because it's super important. This is something that Shopify actually offered in the beginning, and they no longer offer it. So please don't call them and bug them. I've had this happen many times. The reality is, in the beginning, for Shopify to grow exponentially, go back to 2014, they doubled every year until 2017. And then they were still at 60, 70, 80%, something like that. I might be getting the numbers a little wrong, but basically 3 years in a row, they doubled their merchants, right? Obviously, there are over 1 million merchants right now today. Well, they started doubling in, I don't know, I think 13 or 14. Again, I might be getting the years wrong, but it was something around 12,000. Then it was 24,000, then 50, then 100, then 200, then 500,000. So they were over 600,000 just in, was it last year, or was it might have been in 18. So they stopped doubling in the last couple of years, but they're massively growing still. I mean, it's hard to double every year forever. You can't do that, but it's still amazing. So this is one of the reasons why I think they started doubling. Behind the curtain, never published. This is the 5th point of the Perfect Partner Program. They had tiered commissions. So you started at 20%, but after your partner manager, again, in the US at least, we don't have partner managers anymore, but they started at 20%. We got automatically bumped to 25%. I didn't even submit a request to get bumped at all. I just got an email saying, hey, we love what you're doing. You got 20 stores now. This is great. And this is in the first year. This happened in the first 7 or 8 months. I thought, oh, this is awesome. I immediately booked a partner call. I said, and at the time, my partner was Caitlin. Caitlin Teed's awesome. I love Caitlin. She's fantastic. Hi, Caitlin. Anyway, and I had basically a direct conversation, a couple of them. I said, look, 25% is awesome. How do I get to 30%? Can I get to 35%? What about 40%? How high does this ceiling go? I said, just, you don't have to tell me the specifics. Tell me this one thing. What is the highest partner percentage that anyone has ever, that you've ever heard of? And she said 40%. I'm like, okay, how do I get to 40%? Just tell me how to get to 40%. What do I need to do? Is it 50 stores? Is it 100? Is it 1,000? What's that? That's my goal. I'm going to start running right now. So tell me what that is. So she said, well, let's have that conversation, in a couple months after you get past 50 stores. So I get past 50 stores. And again, this is that first year. And I get past 50 and I reach out to her and my heart breaks, and I'm about to break all of your guys' hearts here. She basically walked it back and said, well, we're discontinuing that. Now, in that time, this is the nutty part. Again, partner program, great. And then they start tweaking it. So as you need to tweak things to make more money, to reel things back, you can do that. You're the partner program. Do whatever you want. Just make good on your existing relationships. Don't break the existing relationships or you will get, I don't know, everyone will hate you. Don't do that. So they're making good on all their legacy relationships. So somewhere out there are a few. I hope I'm still being seen.
Yeah, you are.
Can anybody tell me? Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. Valentin popped off. I'm like, I don't know. Are we on still? All right. So for as tech as I am, I've never used a podcast. So I came back to her and said, look, that sucks. So we're basically locked in at 25% is what I'm getting at. But in that 6-month time, this is the revelation, guys. In that 6-month time, that I was waiting to, ramp up. So it was towards the end of the first year, we hit over 50 and then over 100 initial merchants. I thought, oh, this is great. Super happy about that. Actually, we hit over 100 in the second year. So super happy about that. And I had so many conversations with other experts, right? My first question was always the same thing. What percentage are you at? What percentage are you at? What percentage are you at? So I wanted to know. And that was the very first thing. And everybody sort of, backed off from the question at first, like, well, wait a minute, what do you mean? And I said, look, I'm at 25%. I got bumped. What percentage are you at? And this is the crazy part. Anybody that had been with Shopify for about 5 years at that time, which would now be about 8 years, time span, because almost all of them said 30. I'm like, I was so frustrated. I thought, well, that's frustrating. So there are a lot of legacy partners out there that are making 30% of any new partner or of any new merchant that they bring on for basic, pro, and advanced. That's huge, guys. That's huge. That's almost, it's like $8 or $9 on the basic plan. No, 30. Yeah, it's almost $10. So it's like $8 or $9 because I make $7.25 on the basic plan. And, the pro makes 20 and the advanced makes 75. And this is where I get frustrated with the partnership and the changes. Again, they're doing what's good for them and good for the business and good for Shopify and definitely good for the merchants. But still, it's backpedaling with the partnership. So I'm a little frustrated by it. But okay, you do what you got to do. Point is, Shopify used to offer 20% on Shopify Plus, and then when you had 5 stores, Shopify Plus stores per year, you'd go to 30%. But that was when they were charging $1,200 for Shopify Plus. Since they've jumped to $2,000 a month, they dropped that. Now they offer 10% per Shopify Plus store up to the first 5, and then they double it to 20%. Now, to put that in real numbers, that's $200 a month on Shopify Plus per store that you bring on, and $400 a month per store after the first 5 of each additional year. Now, depending on when you're listening to this, hopefully you guys will archive it. I'm assuming Valentin will archive it, but that may have changed by the time you see this. I don't know, but right now that's the current state. So just to wrap up and say the 5 points of the perfect partner program: lifetime recurring commissions, number 1. Number 2, easy to use dashboard that's updated in real time, super important. 3 is a vanity URL, ideally a landing page and a vanity URL, but you got to give me at least a vanity URL so I can drop links everywhere. Landing page is going above and beyond. You're doing better. 4, automated monthly payouts. I prefer PayPal, but I'm in the US. Maybe a 2 checkout or some other payment system works better in other parts of the world. 5 is tiered commission incentives. If I get you 10, and this is going back to that Shopify point, tiered commission incentives, number 5, and maybe the most important. If I give you 10 new merchants, pay me lifetime commission at X%. Let's just call it 10% for right now. Now 10 to 100, give me 20%. If I give you over 100 clients, and I don't backpedal, like if those people fall off and now I only got 80, no, I already made that tier. So I mean of all the time. So if I get over 100, jump to 30%. And if anyone in the world, I'm just taking this in orders of magnitude, right? 10, 100, and 1,000. If any one of your partners happens to get over 1,000, you know what you do? You fly to their location, you do a video cast, you hold them up like the baby in The Lion King on the cliff and say, look at this guy. He's making tens of thousands of dollars because he sold 1,000 of these, of our app. And you can do it too. Do the same thing Shopify does. Give away a Richard Branson dinner and a flight to Necker Island. That would be great. But make a big deal about it, because if anyone gets to 1,000 referrals, any individual or agency, even an agency, make a big deal about that for sure. I'll pause there.
Perfect. Mike, we have a new question. Amazon is huge. However, Amazon doesn't give access to sellers to their customer data, which makes them lack in delivering experience and being aware of their customer journeys, expectations, and needs. While Shopify does that and empowers merchants to apply different strategies to retain or engage customers, don't you think Amazon is losing some of its power because of this, given how much consumers need personalized experiences nowadays?
Yes, 100%. By the way, Amazon is evil. Don't use Amazon, but you have to use Amazon. So I'm sorry that you have to use Amazon. But here's a strategy that I just implemented for a client, and it's working so well, by the way. I have a high-end retainer-client relationship with very few, very few people. Essentially, it's $4,200 a month for me to be your bitch. I will be your bitch for $4,200 a month. So this is what we're doing, though. And it's really exciting. I only have 2 of these clients. I'm super excited about this, guys. Thank you for the question. Who's the question?
Toniza.
From Lisa?
From Toniza.
Toniza. So Toniza, thank you for the question. Here's what I recommend doing. Highly recommend doing this. It's going to sound counterintuitive, but just stick with me, okay? Use Bezos like a bitch because he's using you like a bitch. So this is what I suggest. Whatever your product is, and again, this only, I guess I have to qualify this. This only speaks to the original products, right? Drop shipping, I'm sorry, you're kind of out of luck. You're trying to beat Amazon at pricing, and you'll never will, ever, at a product that they can also get from a distributor that you have no relationship with. The only thing I could say to the drop shippers that are also on Amazon is try to find a drop shipper that you have a direct relationship with, like a manufacturer that only sells to other people and doesn't sell on Amazon and doesn't want to sell on Amazon, like that kind of thing. Build a relationship, because then there's exclusivity there, right? If you're just selling products from AliExpress or anything, even Spocket. Spocket's my favorite drop shipping system out there. It doesn't matter. They're always going to beat you on price and shipping and service, just everything. So I'm only going to speak to the original product side of things, because that's what I'm going through right now with this client. What we did was, and by the way, part of their business plan was to over double their pricing in the last, well, we launched April 1st with the relaunch. In fact, yeah, I don't mind giving a shout out to guitargrip.com. They make guitar grip shaped hands. I have several on the wall. If I could turn my computer and show you, but basically they make hand shaped guitar grips that hold your guitar on the wall. That's it. Some are human hands, some are monster hands, skeleton, zombie, mummy, so on and so forth. So their product was very cheap. It was like $40. They're cheap. And their issue was they were doing a ton of sales in the wholesale region, but they needed to transfer to the direct consumer market. So they were doing a ton of sales on Amazon and on Etsy, and they still are. But there's massive problems because most of their sales, like over half, were coming through wholesalers. So they worked with distributors and dealers. Now, not to go into the specifics of the numbers, but effectively, I will on the retail side because that's public information. But so we over doubled the pricing on April 1st. No fooling. Over doubled the pricing. And for April, during a pandemic, for April of 2020, we actually did 30% more sales than we did in April of 19. And here's the key part, guys. Over double the price, less than half of the product, more money. So, and so crazy.
The margin was way better.
What's that?
The margin was way better, yeah.
Just crazy better. Less shipping, right? You're shipping the same thing, but it's double the product, and it's less material to make the same exact thing, more money. So that doesn't speak to your Amazon question. This does. Took a while to convince them of doing this, but it's working perfectly. Screw Amazon. You don't want Amazon sales. You know what you want? You want Amazon reviews. You want enough Amazon sales to get new eyeballs. That's all you want. You want new eyeballs looking on your, again, only original product. So how do you do that and make them convert on your site? It's really simple. Give them a huge incentive to convert on your site. Here's what you do. This is the golden goose. Honestly, it's working a treat for the last 2 months. It's so awesome. And I'm happy to tell you it for free. Just free. I'm not selling a course. I hate those people. So for the most part, there's a couple exceptions, I guess. So take your price. Let's say it's $100. I'm not saying double it or whatever. Just take your price right now as today. $100 is your sale price or whatever it is. Raise the price on external marketplaces.
It's 12 o'clock.
My computer's reminding me it's 12. To cover any fees, and I mean any fees, and it's really hard to determine what Amazon fees are. It's anywhere from 20 to 30%. Sometimes it's 15%. It's so crazy and creepy, but basically take the highest possible estimate of what your Amazon fee sales are, tack on that, then look at and you have to make an emotional decision. It's kind of like a gut reaction. Look at the number and your product. Are you in the high-end market? Are you selling Gucci purses, or are you selling, $10 items that are candy or whatever? Look at your item, and you need to make sure that it hurts for them to buy it on Amazon. Now, that doesn't mean you won't get sales, because there's a decision that a customer makes in their mind, right? You make it, I make it all the time. What's the first thing you do when you see a product that's not on Amazon? You go to Amazon and check it out. Say like, hey, first, can I get it cheaper? Maybe. So then I'll get it cheaper because I trust Amazon and they already ship me all my stuff anyway. And I have a Prime membership. So if it's the same price, then they will always be incentivized to buy from Amazon. No. This is your price. Amazon has to be here. And I always say, I mean, not always, but every client's going to be different. But honestly, you have to make it hurt. So what we did was raised it by between 20 and 30%. 20 and 30% price. Now here's what happens. Doesn't matter where they find the product. If they find the product on our site, great. They go to Amazon, read the reviews, and see, oh, wow, that's so like $100 item is now $125. That's not great. I'm going to go back to his site. If you love Amazon and you trust them, like most people do, and you just think, I want to have that feeling of trust. Okay, pay $25 extra. Now you just made exactly what you were making anyway. So that's fine. Same thing with Etsy. Same thing with any other external platform. Now what you're doing is using them and abusing them the way they use you and abuse you. Because I've heard so many awful, horrid stories of Amazon. Again, you don't have their data, right? They have all the data, and they own the customer experience, and they own the customer store. I just got finished setting up my first brand store on Amazon. Hated it. Couldn't remove the home button. That one thing annoyed me. Couldn't do almost anything with the visuals. The CMS is awful. It's awful, and I say that as a developer of 25 years and a designer of 25 years, primarily a designer, that already hates the fact that Shopify doesn't have sections on all pages and they're not catching up to WordPress 15 years ago. But that's a different story. So Yeah. So Amazon strategy, 20 to 30% more of whatever you're selling. Your current, again, has to be an original product. Unfortunately, this doesn't really apply to anything with drop shipping. But yeah, so that's my answer. Long-winded though it may be.
Thanks a lot, Mike. Unfortunately, we're running out of time. When
For
people,
sure, that's my fault. I'm sorry, guys.
no worries, it's been great. So, Mike, where can people reach out to find you if they need your help? And for you out there, I can. This is a call to action. You can go to Mike's website. Just push this green button.
Oh yeah, that'd be great. It's shopafree.me is the not .com. Shopafree.me was spelled with an A, so SHOPAFREE.me. And then if you'd like, I'd encourage you all to go to or just do a Facebook search for Shopify free sources. I can just throw it in the link there. Shopify free sources. Also, just to give a quick shout out, we are launching an unlimited design and development service for Shopify. It is a subscription-based service. You can read more about it in the Shopify free sources group. It does cost $420 a month, and there is a ticket entrance price. But if you're a ShopaFree client, and that includes free clients. So if we set up your site for free, there's no ticket. By ticket, I mean it's like a gym membership. So you pay $4,200 to enter into the unlimited design and development group, and $420 a month ongoing. And then yeah, that's it. But that ticket price is waived if you happen to be a ShopaFree client. Thank you so much, Valentin. I'm sorry I monopolized all of the time. I feel like I talked the whole time.
No
Sorry.
worries.
I hope I answered a couple of questions, and I hope it was useful.
Yeah, it was great. Thanks a lot for joining us today. And for you out there, we'll see each other next time when we'll have Sean Shepard from GrowthX Academy talking about how to get back to the new normal. So until then, stay safe, everyone, and thanks again, Mike, for being part of the e-commerce growth show.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me, Valentin. I appreciate it.